Hi, Michael Hums with Grand Design RV, Class C motorhomes. I'm with the Lineage division. Today I'm with Josh from Layzee Acres.
Yeah,
right?
Good, brother. How are you?
Outstanding.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys a little bit of a tour around a new product coming to Toronto.
Yes, yeah. It'll be the spring show, all right, which is going to be the beginning of March, end of February. We're looking forward to it, so super excited for that.
So some of our first trucks going into Canada. I want to tell you a little bit about the Lineage and what we're doing. This is our Super C application. So what I mean by that is it's built on a Ford 6.7 liter Power Stroke, 4-wheel drive. The nice thing about this coach, when we bring these chassis in, we're customizing the front a little bit. I'm a big Raptor guy, so we put a Raptor style front end. We do the Rhino lined bumpers on these. The other thing is we're going with a 2-inch lift kit on the front and a 4-inch on the rear. And we're not doing it so much to raise things up. We're doing this to basically give you a better ride quality. So if you look in here, you're gonna see we've upgraded the sway bars. You went to a giant sway bar right here. Yeah. You've got the Fox shocks. These are remote reservoir Fox shocks. So you've got a high-speed dampening here and low-speed dampening there, the gray and the orange. So you've got coil springs, BDS radius arms. Nice thing is what we're doing is you can customize this. Let's say Josh and his family are pulling a big trailer, right?
Yep.
You can customize the suspension for that. I'm that off-road guy. I can set my shocks up differently.
Yep.
You're pulling a trailer with 15,000 pounds. We can adjust the suspension a little bit versus just having one setting. A Raptor has an adjustable suspension. This is the best we could do to get you close to that.
So how does that kind of adjustment work though? Like, is that like something physical you do here?
I've got a video, I've got a manual. So it just depends on, are you overloaded, underloaded, towing? Is it a pavement princess? So we'll educate y'all once you buy the coach. But I just want to talk a little bit about the suspension. Yes, we have a little bit more ground clearance with what we're doing. All of the F600s come. The highest trim package you can buy is the XLT. So you're not going to get the big display on the inside. You're not going to get the adaptive cruise control, but you are going to get a lot of other features on this truck. For example, we try to match the fenders front and rear with what Ford's doing on these. We've extended the mirrors on this truck. So the nice thing is this is a 100-inch wide coach. We've extended it out. We're giving bigger running boards on the front of this truck. A couple other things you'll note, a lot of Super Cs, this cab over sticks way out right here. We've kept it very low profile on this, so it's easier to see. We're also running a lot of that 3M film mask. So up high, you'll see it a little bit to protect all that paint. You have 11 different exterior options on here. Our best sellers by far are the 3 solids. You've got white, you've got a smoke color, which is like a Ford Avalanche gray, and then you've got the midnight color, which you'll see on this Lineage right here. So there's 3 colors to choose from, and then you've got some 8 different schemed colors, so you're gonna have some design to them. We run a little bit wider running board on this truck, and then everything underneath here is gonna be steel reinforced. The other thing is, as you go front to back on this, all of your wing walls right here, all of your cab over is like a steel cage on this. So it all kind of bolts together. It's not just shrouded fiberglass. You've got a dual entry step right here. Our entry door comes from Europe. So the neat thing about this is, number one, as it opens all the way up right here, okay, your screen door is gonna go this way, but I want you to take a quick look right here. All of your 12-volt fuses, relays, breakers are all on one panel. You got 310 amp hours of Lithionics lithium, 900 watts of solar, so you got 580 amp panels up there. The other thing with this coach, you've also got entry assist handles on both sides. Your outside entertainment center, everything on here is going to be the Rockford Fosgate sound system. All of your bays are an aluminum door. The other thing about this is all of your electronics are going to live in here. So you're going to have your inverter charger, you're going to have your keysay, which is your DC to DC. I've got a lithium charging profile for the coach, and then obviously lead acid for under the hood for when you're driving. That keysay is also my solar controller. So driving down the road, I get alternator power, and then obviously at campsite, it's going to turn into my solar controller. We're also going to give you a big storage bay here. Got a huge pass-through storage bay for both sides here. I also like to point out when you get to these big trucks, we use all the raised letters on here. They're all a Girard armless awning. They do have a 10-speed wind sensor built into it. We build this truck right here. You've got the Sure Slide system from Lippert. So it's a very new slide mechanism. Are you familiar with it, Josh?
It's a combination of like a slim rack and a Schwintek?
Yeah, so what you've got is think about like Schwintek, slim rack, Sure Slide.
Right.
All right. And
next progression.
Yeah, it's a good progression. The difference is all of your rollers are pillow bedded right here into the sill plate. Then my column comes down and locks onto the wall and into the sill plate. So the transfer of energy all goes right back to the plate. Right. My rollers are pillow bedded in, so they're in the same spot every time, plus they're machined rollers. Right. The other thing is if this gets just a little off kilter, it's still gonna run, you know, whether it's vertically or horizontally. Okay. The system itself, I can get to the motors that slides in or that slides out. Yep. All of this is gonna be a composite product from Transcore. And then obviously we're gonna have windows in our slide room end walls. This is a 40-inch deep slide. So the nice thing is it's gonna be a little bit lighter weight than some of our competitors. I'm a big fan of the slide mechanism versus a cable versus that. The one thing I could compare it to is maybe similar activity to like a Vroom slide mechanism, which is an aftermarket application. Yep. We run a full rear fiberglass cap, not just bezels or anything. It's got a 15,000 pound tow hitch. Yep. So I mean, it's plenty big. You know, as you get to the back, we've got the Torque HD wheels, front and rear, valve extenders. We call it our blackout package. So you're getting black wheels, black exhaust tip, black generator exhaust tip.
And that's an option, or that's
standard? There's 3 options on this. You pick an outside color, you pick an inside color, and whether you want the stack washer dryer.
Cool.
Let's take a look around the other side of the coach.
Right on. Right on, Mike. Let's walk around the other side of the coach. This is gorgeous here with this super deep slide. Is this 40 inches as well?
This is a 36. So you've got a sofa dinette slide on this side of the coach.
Yep.
You know, you get to this side of the coach, you get a good look again at your suspension package. You know, the Fox BDS thing we're putting out there, your extra ride running boards. Right here, this is standard with an 8 kW Onan diesel generator. You've got your DEF fill is right here. You have 1 fuel fill here and 1 fuel fill back here. You've got another storage bay right here. Obviously you're going to see your diesel fill there. This is the back side of your pass-through storage bay here. You're going to have your maintenance bay back here, so obviously we're going to be able to have your outside shower, your termination valves, everything in one located panel. Now, the other part of this area that we talk about, you heard me mention divorced fuel tanks. So you got a 40-gallon tank in the rear and a 26 up front. While you do have 2 different fuel fills, you don't have to necessarily have the old switch on the dash or anything. It'll drain the rear tank first, then the front tank. And as long as the ignition is on, it's gonna pump fuel starting from the back forward. So your generator, for example, pulls out of that front tank. And you're using on a diesel generator under a normal load somewhere around 1/3 to 1/4 of a gallon of fuel per hour on that. So you're gonna have quite a bit of off-grid camping power. You know, really good staying power having lithium and solar on the truck itself.
And you said there's 1,000 watts on the roof?
900.
900.
Yep.
Sweet.
The other thing, as you get to the back, you've got a power cord reel here. So you push a button, you know, it's going to wind up that big 50 amp cord. You've got a Lippert on the go ladder. I don't care if you want a 12 foot, a 14 foot, a 16 foot, you can buy your ladder there. Your outside windows, again, are all the Puma windows. There's an acrylic window. They come from the Netherlands. Neat thing about them is they got integrated screens and shades. I'll show you guys when we go inside. But a couple things I want to talk about on the outside of this. Josh, earlier you asked me about the warranty on this product.
I did. What is it?
So Grand Design is standard with a 2-year warranty, not a 1 like many of our competitors, a 3-year structural warranty. It's transferable, all right? So the other part of that is you could register it in a business name if you choose. We will honor full-time RVers. And the other thing is we have our touch point warranty. So the advantage there is you know, we call that customer 6 times throughout ownership. I'm gonna call them at 90 days, not 30 days because they just getting their plates on it. They haven't had a chance to use it. So at 90 days we call, hey, how's it going? 180 days we'll call, how can we help you? What do you see? You're going to see 1 year, hey, happy birthday. These things should be looked at, maintenance, you know, firmware updates. 18 months we'll check in, and then at 23 months we check in again. So we're going to call from the factory those retail customers along the way.
That's awesome.
And then earlier you were asking me a little bit about the roof.
Yes, thank you.
I know, I'm dancing all around with warranty and roof and construction, but the roof itself is a low maintenance roof, not a no maintenance roof. We have a Titan gasket system. So wherever we penetrate, whether it's a baggage door, something here, you know, a light, we use a gasket system. So there is no putty on the outside of this coach. It's basically
it's like a die cut?
It's a foam gasket with a Turnabond.
Okay.
So the nice thing about it is you screw it down. There is no self-leveling on our roof. That's a fiberglass roof. It's got some heavy gauge aluminum framing up there. You've got a GREE air conditioner, so it's a 15,000 BTU roof AC. All right, it's got a heat pump, it's got a dehumidifier. These coaches are also standard with Starlink, and they're global, and I'll touch on that a little more inside.
Okay, so cool. You ready to go inside?
Let's go inside and take a look.
Right on. So we're inside that Model F F600, and this is, just tell me what this bike. This is fantastic.
Thank you. You know, this was The inside of this, our inspiration really came from our Lineage brands, whether it's the Series M, the Series F. We use a lot of the same components.
Sure.
Kind of starting up front. We molded everything up here versus, a vinyl wrap plywood. You've got a power shade on the front of this coach that you can control. You pull this down and now I'm gonna have an 80 by 54 bed up top. We've got some privacy curtains up here. You've got a little ladder to get you up here. We do a couple things up in the cockpit area I like to talk about. Number one, we call this our monkey bars. It is a little difficult to transition on some of the super seats from the coach to the cockpit. So what we'll do is we'll take this, to give you a metal landing to get down in here. We put an integrated safe in the back of each one of these headrests, just to give you some security. We've added headrests to each one of these. We've added heat to each one of these. So the neat thing about this is, we're trying to upgrade this because on an XLT from the factory, that's a cloth seat. So we're giving you our leather package.
Sure.
There's 3 interiors to choose from on this coach. I'm going to shut our door real quick. But before I do, I can show you that screen one more time. It's a left to right screen. You also got privacy right here with a shade in the door. Up here from the cockpit, from the transition, with an XLT being your highest trim package, we're giving you the leather seat option. We're making the transition a little bit different. We also have Cobra, which is our cab over bunk ram air. We're giving you air conditioning up here. So if I pull the curtain shut up here, I'm still able to have some air up in this area. You can turn your lights on and off. It's very well lit. You got reading lights on both sides, 110, USB, USB-Cs, lots of charging equipment that's up in the front of the coach.
That's sweet. Now you mentioned 3 furniture options?
Yes, you got 3 furniture options. Thank you. I lost my place there. So you've got 3 options. So you've got our modern gray, which if you step back a little bit, I'll show you one neat thing about this coach. We're doing dark ceilings. Right. So everything in here is going to be called modern gray. So I've got a square theme, right? I got square speakers in here. These are all Rockford Fosgate. There's subwoofers underneath your kitchen base. You've got square lights. You have these slot diffusers right here to help move air around. A traditional RV has those little round rotaires. These are linear slot diffusers. They move air a little bit differently inside the coach. Modern gray. You can also get this package here, which is an upgraded ultra leather option, which would be the same color gray. And then we've also got a light gray, which you'll see right here. It's more of a neutral tannish gray. So there's 3 options. The standard modern gray or the soft touch. Okay. And I can get soft touch and light or dark.
Gotcha.
All of our cabinetry in here comes from Toyota Europa. They call it natural teak. Everything in here is a paper wrap, and I'm very proud of that. You put a natural wood product in Tucson for the summer, right? You got to put a bucket of water in there because those cabinets are expanding and contracting. Or you stick it up, north. We're going to go to Grand Prairie and stick it up in the winter. The nice thing about this, it's all EPP, European poplar plywood. Everything's edge banded, so it's a sealed product. So the neat thing about it, everything in here is going to be soft close, whether it's your doors or drawers. The other thing I like to talk about, we mentioned on the outside, was the windows. I don't have all the goofy RV fabrics and valances. You can push in on these handles and turn. And the neat thing about them is click, click, click. You can open your windows all the way up. I pull down, I get a screen. I pull up, I get my nightshade. And again, the RV fabrics kind of go away.
Do those have like a vent mode where they just stick out just a hair open?
They do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the other thing is as you come into here, this is a global coach. And what do I mean by that? I talked about Starlink on the roof. Well, Firefly is our low voltage switching system in here. So I can control it from the display, from my phone, or from these Bluetooth switches that are throughout the coach. So it controls all of our lighting everywhere. You still got charging everywhere. All of our furniture is built by Apex Furniture in Tazewell, Tennessee, so it's not an import furniture process. They do a really good job from us. So the cabinetry, like I said, all of your cabinetry comes from Technoform in Italy. We do a real thin series countertop on here. You've still got your countertop extension in this area. When you get into the kitchen, right in this area over here, this is where your Firefly system is going to be. And we try to integrate everything so you don't have a bunch of apps. I can check my battery, my solar controller, my voltage, my inverter charger, generator, water pump, tanks, your tank sensors or pressure sensors in here. So, this coach is going to be at 21% or 99%. It's not 1/3, 2/3 full, and then a piece of toilet paper sticks to a sensor and reads full forever. They're pressure sensors. So it's a nice product. This is a great 4 Seasons coach. All of my tanks are heated and enclosed. They're in one base. You got forced air from your furnace, plus you got 12-volt pads in there. If you're going to do extreme camping, you might want to think about a bay heater for where your connections are at. But The other thing I like to talk about is we have one of the quietest ACs in the industry. You know, you think about it, it's on right now. So we're returning air from 4 sides. You got a residential filter, and you got 2 of these in here. Your pull-out sprayer, you got a little bottle washer right here. Sponge drawer if you're sponge worthy. Okay, little pull-out doors and drawers right here. And again, everything in here is soft close. And then these come from Baldacci in Italy. You can lock them for transit mode. All my televisions in here are going to be 12-volt smart TVs. Nice. So behind here is where you're going to see your Starlink power supply and the modem. And that is where, let's say, Josh and his family are in, you know, I don't know, let's pick one. You're in Edmonton at an Oilers game, and your coach is in Toronto at the Leafs game.
Very Canadian of you.
Yeah, thank you. Big hockey fan. Yeah. So you could log in and say, hey, what's the state of charge on my batteries? How much solar am I getting? What temperature is it? Are the slides or the awnings in and out? So you could be remote. You're out hiking for the day. Ooh, I better make sure the dog's got heat or air. And so you can check all that from your smartphone device. We run a little bit bigger oven than a lot of our competitors. I know there's a lot of people telling me, hey, you really got to make this thing induction and everything else. I've got the biggest oven in its space. We got a convection microwave in this space here. We've got the large French door Furrion 12-volt refrigerator. So this is all here. I've got a huge pantry area in this space right here. So these will both open up, and then you've also got another door and drawer down here. The other thing is, that really sets us apart is where you're sitting. Okay. So I've got a 68-inch sofa. I got my 68-inch dinette. It's a Dream dinette with a push of a button that builds down. And then the other thing is, I've got these huge storage drawers with 250-pound drawer guides underneath both these dinettes. So, and they pull way out, and that's heavy-duty stuff in there.
That's incredible.
The other thing is, front to back, you know, a lot of my competitors are not going to give you a king-size bed. So I've got a 70 by 80 king-size bed. We're going to give you a stack washer dryer. And then you'll see this is all mounted in here. You got steel brackets up top. You know, all your feet are mounted in here. As I go into the back, you know, on this coach, you know, I can open up these doors and drawers. I got a little nightstand here. I can flip it up. Spot to put a glass of water at night. And then obviously huge wardrobes across the rear wall on this coach. Got a nightstand built in over here as well. And then back to the square theme. You know, you got square lights and square door handles. I come in here, I've got a huge window in the bathroom. And then we run C-Deck. C-Deck is a marine product. It's a non-slip product. I've got my big shower in here. You've got a linear slot drain in the bathroom, porcelain stool. You've got emergency shut-offs, so when you get to your washer and dryer, a couple towel hooks in here. So as you're kind of front to back in this coach, there's a lot packed into this little thing.
It's complete. At this like price point, you can't have stuff missing, and there's nothing missing.
You know, one thing that we like to tell people is you're spending a lot of money on this. We do plant tours every single day. I'm 6 hours away from your dealership right now, right? We encourage people, come down, see the factory, meet us. Yep. If you have questions when you're buying this, call the factory. Ask for Tyler, ask for Luke, ask for myself. We'd be glad to help. And same with your salespeople. I know we've done some extensive training both on site and here in Indiana, but you know, allow us to engage in that sale. So
yeah, I got your cell now. So
absolutely. So hey, thanks a lot for your time. If you got more information, you can find us at granddesignrv.com or
hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit us up on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Layzee Acres RV Sales. Have a good day.
Thank you.